This next section looks huge, but it's not nearly as big as it looks. Yeah, there's a bunch of points here. Don't worry about it. We're going to go through them, but they won't take a lot of time. Packet analysis. This is simply listening in to a conversation, whether it be wired or wireless. You use something called a packet sniffer typically, and there are two or three different ones that are out there, such as Wireshark, for example. But there's something interesting here that you really need to know about. And so really there are only two main points here, and the rest of these are just a bunch of characteristics. First of all, for wired networks. For wired networks, you must be able to use what we call promiscuous mode on our receiver. And the switch must have port mirroring on. Now, for wireless, there are a whole bunch of characteristics that your wireless access card need to have. And so let's take a look at that. First of all, it needs to support what we call monitor mode. Now, not all wireless receivers support monitor mode. The one on your computer that's built into your computer probably does not have monitor mode. As a matter of fact, if you were just to go buy one off the shelf, it probably would not have it. There are a handful of them that do. One is the Alpha series of wireless receivers. So this is something you'll want to look for when you go to buy something that is capable of capturing packets. You also need channel scanning capabilities. In other words, you need to be able to scan on multiple channels. You need compatibility with the 802.11 standards, of course, so your device must be compatible with several of these standards, A, B, G, N, A, X, and AC. The ability to capture raw packets is another characteristic of those alpha receivers, by the way. Strong signal sensitivity, so in other words, a little USB plug, the little tiny ones, is probably not going to be sufficient for receiving everything that you'll need to receive in order to pull this off. You'll need support for encryption analysis. In other words, you'll need to be able to tell what is this, WPA2, WPA3, and so on. And you'll need to be able to decrypt those things, which is typically a dictionary type of attack. You'll need to be able to handle high throughput. Again, a higher end one will help do that. You'll need to have compatibility with the packet analysis tools such as Wireshark or Aircrack NG or Kismet. And of course, you'll need to have drivers that support packet capture and monitor mode. Of course, with the devices, with the antennas and radio receivers that come with monitor mode capability up here, you'll usually find drivers that come along with it that you'll need to use in order to be able to do packet capture.